And this seemed to be crying out for a garden of peace, or a prayer garden. We eventually decided a garden of peace. And opening it in 2014, 100 years after the Great War, couldn't be more appropriate, especially as so many of my white family here, and the seat they're sitting on behind, is dedicated to my grandfather, who lived in Mersey and Malden, and his last few words he wrote to his family are on the seat there. If you want to read the story, it's in some of the little boxes that Matthew's prepared. And the other box, the other seat, has got all the layout of the plants that Amanda's so lovingly looked after, and I think she's going to tell you about that. Is that the idea? Anyway, probably the most amazing thing about this garden is the voluntary work and the community spirit that's gone into creating it. Because although we raised a little bit of money, most of the effort has been the people of this community, and I am just totally amazed at how much people have come together to make this happen. So I just decided to say thank you to all those people.
Thank you, David. I think he's been rather bashful about the amount that he contributed to the fulfilment of this scheme of his. Well, having had the idea, then it had to be executed, and Amanda has had played an enormous part in this, and she's going to just talk a little bit about it.
Thank you, David. I think it's amazing to think that a year ago this was just green grass and meadow, and the work, as David has said, so many people have contributed to making this beautiful garden here today. We really want to thank the people that worked through last April in the snow, clearing the land and preparing it for the bricks to be put down. And I feel very, very fortunate and very privileged to have arrived in May last year and been offered this space to create a garden in. We want to thank the people who helped build it, especially the people who can't be with us here today. And I'm thinking of Mike Hebden, who did a huge amount of work. Catherine, our gardener, had a huge contribution to pay. Peter's here, and I know he did a huge amount of work. And also to Chris and Alison, who aren't with us here today, but really for everyone who contributed so much of the hard work in building this. I just wanted to say a little bit about the garden. We've designed it as a sensory garden so that all people can enjoy it through colour, through touch, texture, and through the scent of the herbs and the plants that we've put in here. We've made it wide enough so that anyone with mobility problems can negotiate, and people can touch and feel the garden. We hope that all the plants will actually trail over the edges and break the edge and create a beautiful display of spring colour, summer colour and autumn colour. We've planted the plants accordingly, and as Colin has said, we have a planting plan over here for you so that you can look at it and learn something about the plants. I just have to say briefly about the fence around it, which was not in our plan at all, but the rabbits had other ideas about putting a garden here, and we've had to build very secure defences to protect it. That's all I want to say. Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to work here.
Right, and sitting there watching this all going on has been Gail. And she's going to say something, I think, about the sculpture.
Yeah, a little bit about the sculpture, but also a little bit about the bricks, because somebody just mentioned the bricks. And originally, we drew lots and lots of designs and copied lots of designs off the computer and found lots of labyrinth ideas, and it was going to be in slabs, paving slabs that we were going to get from council. And sadly we couldn't get them, or unfortunately we couldn't get them, or wonderfully we couldn't get them, so we ended up with bricks. And the precise than the slabs would have been, and it's worked perfectly. So we had to redraw all the plans. And then we went out shopping for benches, and went looking for benches in lots of places and found these two. And we kept talking while we were doing this. What are we going to do in the centre of the labyrinth? What are we going to put here? And we are going to have at some point something for a perch for people to sit on, rather than we don't want a proper chair. We just want something that people will be able to perch and maybe contemplate. But we went everywhere looking and thinking about what we put in the middle. And we didn't want anything that was designed or a specific shape. And we just happened to go into an ironmonger's, well, not an ironmonger's, blacksmith's, when we were looking at the benches, which is across the way. And I said, could you make us something? And he said, what about this? And I thought it was perfect. People say, what is it? It's what you want it to be. But it has got three lovely balls, which can be just whatever you want it to represent. It is a shape of fish, maybe, if you want it to be that shape. But it's also mother, father and daughter, or mother, father and son. It's whatever you want it to be. And it's very, very touchy-feeling. So if you want to come and touch it and move it round, by all means try to. It's very heavy. But it's just lovely. And he said, do you want two? I said, no, we just want one. And to us, it just finishes off perfectly. So it's not a particular artist. It was just a guy working with some metal, and that's what he made. And it's actually perfect. Looks really good here. Oh yeah. Also, you might have noticed that there's a couple of stones. Well, there's some stones around. There's one here that says Robert. Not this Robert. Just. And there's one over here somewhere that says Jill and Joe. And there's a couple of other stones that don't have names on